Hi guys, today is the 13th of October 2014 and this is my 1 year in testosterone video. It really should have been yesterday, the 12th, but I spent the entire day playing Metro Last Light. I didn't make a video. Oh well. The first piece of news that I've got is that I've got a date for my top surgery set. It's going to be the 2nd of December this year. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of the biggest thing apart from testosterone that I've wanted to do since fucking puberty #1 hit. So I had my first appointment or my first visit with the surgeon last month, and she's told me I'm right on the borderline between double incision and peri, and therefore I've got to make a decision of whether I would prefer to have really high scars because you can't move them versus potential for slack skin if I go for peri. But I think like my #1 goal of getting top surgery is just so that I can have my shirt off and kind of look normal, and I think that folk are probably less likely to notice if there's a bit of slack skin versus if there's like a big scar. So it seems like in my mind there's fewer excuses I would need to think up for having that kind of scarring if I go for peri, so I think that's probably what I'm going to go for. I know that neither result's going to be perfect, but I'm not expecting kind of perfection, just the best that I can get, so we'll find out. I've got another appointment with her next month, so hopefully I'll get to see some photos of other surgeries that she's done so I can get an idea of how she actually does it before I make up my mind. So that's kind of still to be done, but I'll have it done by Christmas. That's just like the best Christmas gift I could ask for at this point in time. Yeah, like since my last video, I'm passing like really well. I don't think anyone thinks that I'm a girl anymore. It's the only time that I had any issues was when I worked at the Pride Festival in Glasgow, and I was wearing a hat, and for some reason quite a lot of folk just instantly assumed I was female. Even when I spoke, they were calling me like hen or miss or whatever, so I guess it reinforces my feeling as if like nothing around my face has changed, which I know can't be true because everyone says it's changed a lot, but I don't really see it when I look in the mirror. The only thing that I do see is, what's the word for it, is it putty face they call it, where all like your water retention makes your face all kind of swell up and go all puffy, and especially around the eyes I notice it. So I don't know whether that's going to go back down in another year or two. We'll find out. But it does mean like bouncers just never accept my ID anymore. Bar staff as well. If I'm trying to buy alcohol, I'm 25, but if I'm trying to buy anything, then I'll hand over my ID, and I have actually had a bouncer start laughing at me and saying that's a fucking lesbian, that's not your ID. And of course in the middle of the street I had to out myself so that I could actually get into the venue with all my pals, which was seriously off-putting. Ended up having words with the manager there as well, because we had another transgender friend that the guy was equally dickish to, so. But he was put in his place. But what else is there? Hilarious things happened at the top surgery consult. First of all, I had my form which I was supposed to hand into the reception at the outpatient building where I was supposed to be getting my consult done. I walked up to the window and I'd brought with me my best friend's wife, who'd decided to accompany me down to Manchester, so I wasn't going on my own. So she was standing next to me, and she's like 7 months pregnant, and as I'm speaking to the guy in the reception, he keeps on looking at her, and I keep on asking like, well, is this the right place? Have I come to the right place? And he's looking at her and keeps on kind of looking at me as I speak and then looking back to her, until I hand over my form and he sees my name on it, and suddenly everything clicks into place and he starts talking to me. I thought that was hilarious, and she never even noticed. But I don't know, I think it makes me wonder whether a lot of husbands go in to speak on behalf of their wives. It must be something that happens quite a lot. I can't understand why guys would do that, but oh well, confuses people. And then I had to go in and get some pre-surgery photos done with a photographer after I'd seen the surgeon, and the photographer's all chatty and kind of having a little bit of banter with me. She's like, wipe off your top and we'll get the photos done. I take off my top and take off a binder, and she turns round and her jaw drops, because she obviously wasn't expecting that. She hadn't been briefed at all. All she was told was take pictures of this person's chest, and out come the fucking knockers. So she kind of suddenly clammed up, and I'm kind of trying to continue the banter, and she's really awkwardly trying to take the pictures, trying to continue the banter, and trying not to look quite as shocked as she was. So I took that as a good sign. That was quite amusing, yeah. And what else is there? There was my mate's stag do. That was his wife that I'd went down to Manchester with. So his stag do, which was after his wedding, he dragged us all into a strip club because, I don't know, I guess that's what people do in their stag do's. None of the rest of us wanted to go particularly, but it's the done thing, so we all went in. And the place was like empty. It was a Friday night, right, and it was about 9 o'clock, so they'd just opened, 9 o'clock at night, and there were like 30 strippers in there, and 6 of us, and so the strippers were sort of pawing at us and grabbing us, and one actually pinned me to the bar, and I'm trying to say, like, anything to get her to go away, and I'm like, I'm gay, and she's like, fuck off, you're not gay, and I'm like, I'm gay, I don't want this, so she kind of backed off, but then there was another one came up to the group of us, and she was like, you show us your cock, and I'm like, and at that point I was just I wish I was packing, so I was like, what, like this? Oh, that would have been magical. But that did give us a giggle. The whole group, just as soon as she turned away, just all started sniggering because everyone's totally aware and they're all cool with it. So that was hilarious and kind of, I don't know, kind of affirming, reassuring, I guess, to know that I passed that well. What else is there? Another thing that I noticed, because I work in IT, suddenly, because I'm unmistakably male over the phone and also like in person, people tell me technical things expecting me to know everything because I'm male. Like literally nothing has changed. Maybe I'm a little bit more confident because I know what I'm doing now, having been in the job for a year, but like a couple of weeks ago I had to call up one of our customers because their internet had gone down, so I was talking to the guy who basically owns the site, basically trying to get him to hand over the phone to someone who knew more about it. But he started talking to me about generators and wattages and voltages and transformers and stuff purely because I'm a guy. That's the sort of thing that never would have happened if I'd sounded female over the phone. So I guess I'm becoming a lot more aware of all these situations where there's like blatant sexism from people that don't think they're sexist and just aren't aware that they really are. I mean, every time I get taken more seriously now than I did when I was female drives me nuts. It's just ridiculous. And it's like, I can't point this out because that would be like outing myself in situations where I just don't need to, don't want to. But like at the same time, I feel as if I just don't want to let that thing, I don't want to let it slide. I don't want people to go around thinking that it's okay to assume that women don't know anything and assume that guys do, just purely based on their gender. It's fucking stupid, but it's getting difficult to ignore it now. A lot of guys just aren't aware of this whatsoever because it's just the way that they've been brought up and it's the way they think. It's like, you know, it's trying to argue with yourself or trying to disprove some other deeply held belief, like that you stick to the ground because that's the way gravity works. And guys know technology because that's the way guys work. It's enlightening, not in a positive way, I don't think. I mean, I never thought I'd experienced sexism when I was a girl until I had this comparison, and I think it's just because I always looked like a super butch girl that no one took me seriously anyway, so I never noticed, but oh well. Okay, physically, the other changes that I've noticed since my last videos, even more hair. Like, I compared my stomach with my mate's. Mine is now the hairiest. Like, I don't even know when that happened. I've been watching it and noticing, like, I used to have a little bit of a happy trail, and I guess I never noticed until it became like a happy forest. But I'm quite proud of that. I don't have any hair yet in other places that I don't want, like my shoulders are bare, my back's bare. I don't really have anything on my chest yet though, which I'm sort of hoping that'll fill out, because that will help cover whatever happens during the surgery. There's nothing happening on my face yet. There's a little bit, there's like 2 or 3 hairs here. There's some sort of slightly longer fuzz happening. I need to shave the sides now because they're not like dark hairs, but they're just totally messy and look so scruffy, like teenage boyish if I don't shave it, so that's not too bad. But the worst part of the hair has to be the ass hair. Like, it even snags my boxers. You can feel that Velcro effect when you sit down. It's so unpleasant. try to wipe your ass and it's just shredding the toilet paper. Like, I never realised guys had to put up with this stuff, but oh well, I'm not going to wax it because that'll be even worse. But the best change so far has been like how easy it is to put on muscles now. I've been doing, since August, I've been doing what's called like the press up challenge, where you're supposed to increase the number of press ups that you do once every day by 1 or whatever. So my max is about 55 now, but I tend to do like sets of maybe 30, and I've got a wee set of dumbbells that I lift and it's about 15-16 kilos per hand. And just that combined with a bit of protein, like I never realised how easy it was to put on muscles and testosterone. I've actually burst out some of my shirts. I've gone up a shirt size from a small to a medium. Like, I actually struggled trying to find clothes that fit. I went out trying to buy a new jacket last week and the smalls are like too tight across the shoulders but okay down here, and the mediums are like okay at the shoulders and just huge everywhere else. So it's kind of getting to that way of compromise, because right now all the fashion is designed for guys that are either big everywhere or like tiny little rake people with no girth, I guess you could say. So I was trying to find a jumper, it took ages just trying to find one. Like, I love Superdry stuff, so I was in Superdry for about an hour just trying to find anything that would fit. Nothing does. I don't even know whether the chest surgery is going to affect that or not, because like the push-ups have made them more noticeable. I will say that, like, they stick out more because there's more underneath them, and you can kind of see it from the side. I've just started to notice this like in the last week or two, and it's really doing my head in. I cannot wait for them to be gone, just so that everything I know that people can see is not tits. But I'm going to keep it up because I think ideally, like, the more muscle there is around here, the easier it will be to get a good result in the surgery. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'm really enjoying kind of all this new strength that I've got, and you know, filling out my t-shirt sleeves so there's no bagginess anywhere. It's really satisfying. It's really good to just look in the mirror and see what I don't hate anymore, you know. Because I used to go to the gym and just never saw any results for no matter how much effort I put in. Now it's like I'll knock out 50 press ups in a day, do that for 2 or 3 weeks and see gains. I'm going through tons of protein as well. Like, I like a protein shake with it's double chocolate protein powder. This stuff, I love this stuff, with a scoop of peanut butter and some coconut milk in that. That's my breakfast. So that's been working so far, so I'm going to keep it up. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got a chin-up bar as well, so I've been doing chin-ups as well. Like, I put it in my kitchen because I spend so much time in here cooking food. If I'm just waiting for something to cook, I'll just do a load of chin-ups, like backhand, forehand, whichever way around that is. I'm planning on going back to not the gym, but the climbing centre as well, just to do as much as I can to increase my upper body strength. I'm starting to feel like is it the Y shape? Is it starting to happen? I've got more muscles coming in down here, and I can see it in my shoulders and up here, and kind of all the way down my arms. I'm starting to look so broad that folk are. There was some drunk guy when I was walking home one night just started throwing insults at me because I looked so fucking manly. He was like, "You're a fucking army man with your sleeves rolled up," and I was just like, "Thank you." So, I don't know, the strange things you can take pleasure from. Next up, I've got my hysterectomy planned. So I've got another assessment with a doctor on the 1st of December, which is the day before I go down for my top surgery, just to kind of get that rolling. I don't really know how much I want to take out yet. Basically, I just want to maximise my long-term health. So that means getting rid of as much potential for cancer, and ideally, I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to keep the ovaries or not. Just, you know, what if the apocalypse happens and I can't get testosterone? What if fucking UKIP win and my testosterone supply dries up because I'm not allowed it anymore? I don't know, who knows what could happen. So I feel as if I should keep those, but I want everything else gone because it's like a cancer time bomb. So that's my next thing to get sorted out. And regarding other surgeries, I think after I've had that done, everything else will just be kind of long-term either waiting for things to improve or waiting for my own like dysphoria to change, which occasionally does. Like I'm really stressed out about the fact that I cannot pee standing up. It's like every time I go out with my mates or out to the pub or anywhere in public, I'm so aware that I can't use a urinal, and I don't like using cubicles because they're fucking minging. I don't know how. I can piss through a tube and I can get it straight into the toilet bowl. How do guys end up with it on the fucking ceiling? I don't know, but it's one of the things that I feel like I've missed out on. That's my major complaint. I wish I could pee standing up. So I'm looking at maybe the Meta, maybe at some point find out. I'll probably talk to it when I talk to the doctors about getting the histo, so I'll find out a little bit more about it then. But as for that, I don't have anything much else to say. I'm going to have my dinner now and then play some more Metro. And I'll post another update probably after my top surgery.